join the house of Saul. Are you ready to be a commander of men?
The crown is bleeding. The prophet is dead, and the man God chose is still running for his life. House of David Season 3 is no longer a rumor. It is a reality, and the official trailer has just confirmed what we have all been waiting for. This is not just another season. This is the season where everything breaks, where loyalty becomes a weapon, where the line between the anointed and the abandoned disappears. David is no longer the shepherd boy with a sling. He is not the palace musician playing for a king who wants him dead. He is not even just the fugitive hiding in caves and desert mountains anymore. He is something far more dangerous now. He is a man who has tasted betrayal from every direction, from the king he served, from the wife he loved, from the nation he was chosen to lead, and he is still standing. That alone should terrify everyone on that throne, because a man who survives everything becomes something the enemy cannot calculate. He becomes inevitable. And Season 3 is where inevitable begins. The official trailer for House of David Season 3 is not just a promotional clip, it is a declaration. Every frame, every shadow, every second of silence between the cuts is telling you something. And if you are not paying close attention, you will miss the layers buried underneath the surface. So let us break it down properly, because this trailer is carrying more information than most people realize. The first thing that hits you is the atmosphere. Season 1 gave us wonder. The golden fields, the young shepherd, the giant falling. Season 2 gave us tension. The palace corridors, the politics, the slow poison of jealousy spreading through Saul's court. But Season 3's trailer opens in darkness. Not the dramatic cinematic darkness of a storm approaching. Deep, suffocating darkness. The kind that has no easy morning. And that choice is intentional. The showrunners are telling you before a single word of dialogue is spoken that we have crossed a threshold. Whatever light existed in David's world, the innocence, the hope, the belief that things would resolve peacefully, that light is gone. Season 3 begins in the dark, and it is going to make David find his own fire. The trailer shows David moving, not walking, not marching, moving, with the urgency of someone who knows that standing still means death. He is in the wilderness. He is in the caves. He is surrounded by men who look like they have been through war even before the war has officially started. These are the men of Adullam, the outcasts, the debtors, the broken ones who came to David because they had nowhere else to go. And what the trailer captures brilliantly is that these men are not just David's army. They are his mirror. Every single one of them knows what it feels like to be rejected by the system, abandoned by the institutions that were supposed to protect them, and left to survive on pure faith and fury. David looks at these men and he sees himself, and that is exactly what makes him the kind of leader that history never forgets. But then the trailer shifts, and this is where it gets complicated. We see Saul. And the Saul we see in this trailer is not the Saul of Season 1, the tall, commanding, chosen king standing head and shoulders above everyone else in Israel. He is not even fully the Saul of Season 2, paranoid, jealous, spiraling. The Saul in this trailer looks like a man being eaten from the inside. His eyes carry something beyond anger, beyond grief. What you see in Saul's face in this trailer is a man haunted, not metaphorically, not dramatically, spiritually haunted. Samuel is dead. The voice of God has gone silent for Saul, and in that silence, something else has moved in. The trailer does not spell it out for you. It does not need to. You feel it in every scene Saul appears in. The darkness around him is different from the darkness around David. David's darkness is external. The wilderness, the caves, the enemies. Saul's darkness is internal. And internal darkness is the kind that no army, no crown, and no victory can fix. The trailer also gives us our first real look at the political landscape of Season 3, and it is far more complex than the simple David versus Saul chase that casual viewers might expect. There are multiple power centers operating simultaneously in this season. You have David's growing movement in the south. You have Saul's deteriorating grip on the north. You have the Philistines watching all of this from the coast, calculating exactly when to strike. And then, and this is the detail most people glossed over in the trailer, you have the Eastern Shadow. A figure, a throne room that does not look Israelite, and an alliance being forged that carries the smell of civil war long before the first battle is fought. That is Eshbal's fingerprint. And if you know your history, you know that Eshbal's emergence is not a subplot. It is the beginning of a fracture in Israel that will outlast Saul, outlast the war, and bleed into the very foundation of David's eventual kingdom. Season 3 is not just about David surviving Saul. It is about David surviving Israel itself. Let us talk about the release date, because the announcement did not just come with a date, it came with a strategy. And when you understand the strategy, you understand exactly how much Amazon Prime Video believes in this show, and exactly how much pressure is riding on Season 3 to deliver something historic. House of David Season 3 is confirmed, and the production timeline that has been revealed through official and behind-the-scenes sources tells us something very important. This season did not rush. The gap between Season 2 and Season 3 was not a delay caused by problems. It was a deliberate, calculated pause. The kind of pause that a production takes when it knows what it is building toward and refuses to compromise the landing. John Irwin and his team have spoken in interviews about the weight of the material they are working with. This is not fictional drama that can be adjusted for convenience. This is one of the most documented, most studied, most spiritually significant stories in all of human history. Every creative decision carries the burden of authenticity. Every choice about what to include, what to dramatize, and what to leave to the imagination has consequences. Amazon and the production team know this, and the release timeline reflects that level of seriousness. What Amazon is not loudly advertising, but what the trailer quietly confirms, is that Season 3 is structured differently from the first two seasons. The pacing has shifted. Season 1 was an origin story, so it had the natural momentum of discovery carrying it forward. Season 2 was an escalation story. Every episode turned the heat up one more degree until the pressure became unbearable. But Season 3, based on everything the trailer is communicating, is structured as a convergent story. Multiple storylines, multiple characters, multiple political forces are all moving toward the same collision point. And the showrunners are not going to rush that collision. They are going to make you feel every step of the journey toward it. That means slower burns in certain episodes, deeper character work, and moments of near silence that will hit harder than any battle sequence because you will understand exactly what is at stake in them. The release date positioning is also significant. Amazon has placed Season 3 in a window that signals confidence, not desperation. Shows that studios are unsure about get buried in quiet release slots with minimal promotional push. House of David Season 3 is getting the opposite treatment. The official trailer release itself was an event. The framing, the music choices, the selective reveals, all of it is the work of a marketing team that has been told this show is a priority. And when Amazon decides something is a priority, the resources behind it shift dramatically. That means better promotional reach, better algorithm placement on the platform, and a much higher likelihood of the show breaking into mainstream cultural conversation in a way that Seasons 1 and 2, despite their quality, did not fully achieve. But here is what the release date announcement is really telling us, for those who understand how streaming platforms operate. Amazon does not greenlight a third season of a faith-based historical drama unless the numbers from the first two seasons exceeded expectations in very specific ways. Streaming platforms live and die by watch time, completion rates, and subscriber retention. For House of David to earn a third season with this level of production investment, it had to perform exceptionally well in all three categories. That means people were not just watching it, they were finishing it, they were re-watching it, they were staying subscribed to Amazon Prime specifically to follow this show. That is a different category of success than simple viewership. That is a show with genuine cultural grip. And Season 3 is the moment where that grip either tightens into something legendary or loosens into disappointment. Based on everything the trailer is showing us, tightening is exactly what is about to happen. There is one more layer to the release date conversation that almost nobody is discussing. The timing of Season 3 relative to the current global moment is not accidental. Stories about power, about the corruption of institutions, about the difference between a leader chosen by God and a leader chosen by political convenience. These stories land differently depending on what is happening in the world around them. Right now, audiences everywhere are hungry for narratives that wrestle honestly with those questions. They are tired of simple heroes and cardboard villains. They want complexity. They want a story where the man being hunted is not perfect, where the king doing the hunting was once genuinely chosen, where the tragedy is real because both sides contain elements of truth. House of David delivers exactly that. And Season 3 is arriving at precisely the moment when audiences are most ready to receive it. That is not luck. That is either extraordinary timing or extraordinary intention. Either way, it works in the show's favor in ways that pure quality alone cannot manufacture. This is the section that matters most to the people who have been watching this show for reasons deeper than entertainment. Because Season 3 is not primarily a war story. It is not primarily a political thriller. At its absolute core, Season 3 of House of David is a story about what happens to the human soul when it is caught between love and obligation, between what it was born into and what it believes in. And no character in this entire series carries that tension more completely, more painfully, and more beautifully than Jonathan. Let us start with what the trailer shows us about Jonathan and then go deeper than the trailer goes. What we see on the surface is a man divided. Jonathan appears in scenes that place him simultaneously in two worlds that are becoming impossible to occupy at the same time. He is in Saul's court, standing close enough to the throne to feel its heat, close enough to his father to see exactly how far the madness has advanced. And he is in the wilderness, or at least his heart is, because every vow he made to David, every covenant sealed between them, is pulling him away from the palace and toward the man hiding in caves. The trailer does not show us Jonathan making a clear choice, and that is deliberate, because Jonathan's story in Season 3 is not about a clean decision. It is about the unbearable space between two loyalties that cannot both survive. Now here is the theory that changes everything about how you watch Jonathan this season. What if Jonathan is not simply paralyzed between his father and his friend? What if Jonathan has made a choice, and the choice is far more sophisticated and far more dangerous than simply picking a side? What if Jonathan is operating as a deliberate double agent inside Saul's court? Think about what that would require. It would require Jonathan to sit in war councils where David's death is being planned and feed information out through channels Saul cannot trace. It would require him to appear loyal enough to his father that no suspicion lands on him, while simultaneously ensuring that every military operation against David arrives just slightly too late, just slightly too disorganized, just slightly too predictable. It would require Jonathan to perform loyalty to a throne he knows is already condemned, while protecting a man he knows is already anointed. That is not cowardice. That is one of the most sophisticated and spiritually costly forms of courage imaginable. And if Season 3 commits to this reading of Jonathan's character, it will transform him from a tragic supporting figure into one of the most complex and compelling characters in the entire series. The psychological weight of this doubles when you consider what Jonathan knows that he cannot say openly. He knows David is anointed. He knows his father's reign is finished in the eyes of God. He knows that the crown that should have passed to him, the crown he was born to wear, the crown that every tradition and expectation of his world said was his, has already been given to someone else. And Jonathan has accepted that, not with bitterness, not with resentment, with a kind of heartbreaking grace that makes him almost impossible to watch without feeling the weight of what he is surrendering. Jonathan is a man who looked at God's choice and said yes, even when that yes cost him everything. That kind of faith does not make for comfortable television. It makes for unforgettable television. Now let us turn to Saul, because the trailer is showing us something about Saul in Season 3 that goes beyond what most breakdown videos are willing to engage with seriously. Saul's condition in this season is being portrayed not as simple madness, not as a man who lost his mind under pressure, but as a spiritual abandonment playing out in real time inside a human being who can feel every inch of it happening. Samuel is dead, and with Samuel's death, the last remaining bridge between Saul and the voice of God has collapsed. Saul has no prophet. He has no word. He has no direction from heaven. And for a man who once had all of that, who once felt the Spirit of God move through him so powerfully that he prophesied among prophets, that silence is not just painful, it is terrifying in a way that has no human language adequate enough to describe it.